I made a weight loss bet with a dude in 2007, maybe 2008, like to start the year. Mm-hmm. This dude who I hadn't yet met, we were just like, we started talking. You
sound fat. I'll bet.
This is actually a great story.
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, ladies, sorry, I should say lady. There's probably just one of you out there watching.
My wife watches.
Okay, so lady and the gentleman. Welcome back to the Table One podcast. We are here with the number one winningest female poker player in the world. Wait a minute. This just in. Shannon, also a guy's name sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had to look it up, but apparently Shannon is also a boy's name.
Yes.
So welcome.
Shannon Shorr.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. King of the MTT streets. Go ahead, Justin. Give us the rundown on Shannon's accomplishments.
Well, I didn't look it up, but just by memory, because Shannon and I have known each other since 2008, probably 2007. We actually played online quite a bit on the old Poker Stars Day, Party Poker Days. He was baseball 1B, if memory serves, and it was one of the aha moments where I played with him, and it was just like, "What's your screen name?" That's back when everyone was super secretive. And Shannon is just baseball 1B. I was like, "Oh, I know you." And I shared my name, Robert 07, and we bonded very quickly or whatever. But I've known Shannon since 2007 sounds right actually. So
right, yeah.
16, 17 years. Or gosh, is that fucking right?
Ooh, no public math. Firm policy of mine.
Shit.
Math is hard. We don't have to do math when we're not playing poker.
But anyway, Shannon was an online crusher, moved to Vegas, what was it? This is a bit later, 2014, 15?
I've actually been out here 5 years full time.
Oh, that's okay, yeah.
I've always spent a lot of time out here, of course, for different series and all the summers, but been out here full time 5 years.
So Shannon gave up his male modeling career to pursue a career in poker.
These are facts. All facts on the pod.
But no,
could have easily been one.
No, Shannon's clearly one of the better poker players in the world today. His results show it and continually show it, including 2 WSOP bracelets within the last 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, in October I won 2 of them during the online series.
That's nice. Tell me about the field size, the buy-in, all that fun stuff.
The first one that I won was a $2,000 six-max online event.
Oh, sick. Okay.
I can't remember the exact numbers. I feel like I got a couple hundred entrants or something. But that was cool, obviously, getting my first bracelet after long waiting to get there.
And if you guys haven't seen it yet, check out the video of him winning this first one. His wife comes in, celebrates. It's actually really touching.
That's some foresight there. You're like, I'm at the final table. I'm finally gonna win. Wait a minute, I have a chance to catch this on video, and what gave you the thought to set that up?
So it was really weird. It hadn't entered my consciousness to do that at all. But then, and I don't generally mess with my phone a lot or record much in general. But we happened to go on break. I dragged a big pot heads up, and then I had a big lead, and then we went on break. I was like, the 5-minute break. So I was like, okay, now it just popped in my head. I should probably record this. I might put the guy away.
Right. What's the downside?
Yeah, and then so we came back from break, and it actually was a fucking nightmare. He doubled on the first hand.
Oh no.
And then just actually climbed to a point where he had a lead after I was 4-1, and then.
Release that footage.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. I was like, do you still release it when you get second place?
Yeah, no, that video was going to get deleted if I get second. I would have been so heartbroken because I've already been so traumatized generally by trying to get this label off of me of not being a bracelet winner, right?
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, there were lots of times where I was pretty deeply traumatized.
So during the break, did you prep Joy as well? Did you tell her it was look, I have a big chip lead. I'm setting the camera up.
So she came upstairs to watch it. I think she just gotten the kids down. The kid down. My son was just about to arrive.
Yeah, inner belly.
Yeah.
He was still there.
Yeah, so she came upstairs and sweated it. Super special moment to have that with her forever.
It really is. I hope that makes the test of time. Hope you guys saved it at a bunch of different places. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. That's gonna be pretty.
If it's on the internet, it ain't going anywhere. Just ask all the people trying to get their videos on the internet.
Man, it's pretty crazy, right? When you're a kid, you really have to hopefully you have some good parenting or people teaching you, you really have to be careful with the shit you're putting out there.
Just think about who the president's going to be in 20 years.
And whether he's going to have a fat guy lightsaber duel.
It's going to be such a weird debate. It's just going to be instead of actually debating him, it's well, I found this video of you when you were 14 years old. And you wore a wig and a dress and.
Yeah, the AI that's going to be around at that time,
gosh,
just digging into people's past.
Dude,
it's going to be hard to be squeaky clean. But we'll probably be in a space where image isn't as important anymore. Maybe.
Well, I that seems reasonable enough. But it's going to be a rough patch. I think getting to that point. I think a lot of lives will be ruined on the transition to where we stop caring that much.
100%.
Because when everyone has a skeleton in their closet. That's not in their closet, it's just online, then I would assume it'd just be easier.
Yeah, then we just all realize how flawed we all are.
Exactly right.
Speaking of which, what we like to do on this pod is go back in time and talk about when we're going to pursue the normal life, and then all of a sudden the gambling life starts to take over the normal life, and that's where we end up putting our careers. So. Mm-hmm. When did that happen for you? I know you went to Bama, right?
I did.
Did you find poker before that? You're a little bit older than I am, a little bit younger than Justin. So I found poker my senior year of high school, right after in the summer, online poker, 2005, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like yours, from what I've looked at on your results and stuff, you were already in poker a little bit before that. So
yeah,
bring us back, Shannon, to the glory days.
So I went to college at the University of Alabama. I went down there in the fall of '03 and got an apartment right near University Boulevard, as a 18-year-old freshman, which was such a cool experience, being right there in the heart of the party atmosphere and everything. Yeah. And I started playing my roommate and some friends of his, we started playing $5 house games after we were watching Moneymaker. I think that's when that started to blast.
Yeah, that was yeah.
So it was either we were watching football or poker or whatever was on TV. So poker started watching, so we started playing $5 games. I lost a bit to my friends, and eventually started I read a book. I can't remember what the book was because it was so long ago, but whatever the basic Texas Hold'em book that was out. Started beating my friends a little bit, and then deposited online at Party Poker. And
how much did you deposit? I gotta know.
I think I was going in $50 units.
That was
until I started losing. I remember making $100 deposits. Yeah, the classic chasing. But here's the thing: I was a civil engineering student, so I had a co-op. I'd work, go to school a semester, then work for a semester. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Sweet, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, so I went on, I was doing civil engineering, so I'd go on construction sites. I was on site at the University of Alabama when they were building the, basically remodeling the stadium.
And they would pay you for that, so that was your bankroll?
That was my bankroll, yeah.
So Bama basically has some of your equity here. They should be credited for state.
Have you given any money back to the University of Alabama?
I get those alumni letter things all the time.
I mean, you kind of owe them a little bit. Right? They staked you.
They give you a complete retro free roll here. Roll Tide free roll.
They did provide me a great campus to party on and play a lot of poker on, and eventually get a degree as well.
So you did a bunch of 50s, and then your job let you do hundreds.
Yeah, so I was firing it in there and lost a few $1,000s. Then I met,
right. All right.
I was down some 3,400 because I would keep very detailed records and stuff. Yet I sucked at poker.
You're this is going great. You're like the dog in the fire, this is fine.
Usually
Put some
people
more
that
money in.
Yeah, usually people that lose, they're like, oh, I'm gonna keep track, and after like the first 1,700, are like, who cares?
What happened to that notebook? Anyways,
I don't know. I felt pulled by the energy of it, as I'm sure you guys did. Though, it's like something being a kid and like being like
Yeah.
seeing that you could make money doing this and seeing like the alternatives. Like I don't want to go to work and like do this,
Yes.
do whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to get out there, and just like I think being exposed to people on campus and like growing my sense of like what's out there and stuff, and taking some like trips locally to other football games and all that type stuff. So yeah, I lost. And then I met John Little. Actually, we were playing the same sit and goes, and he was a big mentor for me playing
Like
sit
on
and
Party
goes.
Poker days?
Yeah, we actually chatted. I don't know if you ever played on Party, but there was a chat feature like where there was some.
You could direct message them or whatever.
Somehow,
yeah, you could.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that. You could click on their name and actually
Old
send them a
school
message.
chat room kind of.
yeah. And it was great. Then we switched our conversation to AOL Instant Messenger, and he was like,
Do you remember your name on there?
I believe it was Baseball 1B.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you're super creative.
I was
Okay.
it was consistent.
Yeah, baseball, first baseman. Too
What
easy.
was your AIM name?
Easy Eddie 87 for Eddie McCaffrey, who was at the time like a big inspiration. Just wide receiver for the Broncos.
Nice.
Like,
And my entry for most embarrassing, Pimp Smack 2005.
Where were you living when you created this screen name?
Gloucester, Virginia. Yeah, in the country. I mean, I was a pimp.
Okay, I was were you smacking pimps, or did you consider yourself a person that would?
There was some inside joke where I don't remember what it is anymore, but it resulted in an embarrassing instant messenger name.
I hope it's still active.
Listen, I think that's the one I was using when I courted my current wife. So, she reached out to me on MySpace. We spent hours on AIM together, and
Do you
Pimp
remember
Smack
hers?
got it done.
Is that true? True story?
It's a true story.
Do you remember hers? I'm sure hers was like
Yeah, I
Lotus
do.
Flower. and
I do
Adorable.
remember hers actually. It was Can Only Be Me, 2006, because she graduated the year after I did.
Wow. I mean,
How quickly were you into her top 8 on MySpace?
Oh, I probably never cracked it.
Tom just edged you out every single week.
Just chilling. Oh my god. Anyone under 30 has no idea what we're talking about.
So sorry.
What's Tom up to these days?
Dude, he's chilling on a beach somewhere.
Yeah,
with his
I'm
hundreds of
hoping he's
millions
rich
of
as
dollars.
All right, so
Where were we?
he's down $3,400. He's still giving it a shot, keeping detailed notes. He's read his first poker book,
And
Jonathan Little.
So yeah,
Jonathan Little. That's right.
John
yeah.
Little. If it wasn't for John Little, I owe him like honestly a huge part of my career because and everybody has their like people that you learn the game from, but he was just like so huge for me and like mindset and all this type stuff as I was sitting there like berating the fish in the chat room and stuff. But yeah, so then I started winning in the sit and goes. I won at one point. They began running step satellites to the live tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
So I won the last step to go to Australia in 2006. That was my first live series.
And you were
I was 20 years old.
You're 20 and you
You
okay
get to
because
do
you
that.
can't gamble
But you can.
here
yeah.
in a casino, but online, no rules till 2011, and then and then you win it to Australia.
I came fourth actually.
No, I meant the satellite.
Right.
Not the
Sorry.
tournament. Spoiler alert. I guess he's about to do some good things with his.
All right, so you won the
satellite
last
ticket.
step, and you get like, is it the Aussie Millions at this point? Or?
It was the Aussie
Holy
Millions.
shit!
Yeah.
Like
So
that's
that was,
nuts.
Yeah, it was a cool. They like packaged your. They gave us the room at the Crown, which is a beautiful casino. I don't know if you ever made it.
Yeah, I did. I went 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got down there and we were just having a blast with all these dudes from like all over the place that like a lot of us knew each other, of course,
Yeah.
from like playing.
Only by screen name.
Yeah. So just like, you got like a 60-year-old guy named Randali and you got a 21-year-old kid
Yeah.
named Neil Trahi. It's great. We're all just like in a melting pot. Like whatever happens.
So what was the official buy-in for that? Like
I believe it was 10,000.
okay, it's still 10,000
Yeah.
then. Okay,
Or yeah, I can't.
I believe you. Like
Yeah.
that sounds right.
And you had gotten in for steps, which is like you start at 50, or you can start lower than that, but like sit and go, and then you just work your way up, and then
might have cost them $30. Yeah,
it's a parlay ticket of the old days.
By that point, I was like quite excelling in the sit and goes. That I was like one of the better sit and go players on the site. So I was just like buying into the next to last step or whatever it was.
Okay.
600 to 2,000. It's
Damn,
funny
so
actually.
you went from down 3,400, and now you're buying into $600 sit and goes.
Yeah, I think I swung up to about like plus 30,000. I
Okay.
remember by the time I won that.
Wow. So from 18 when you first found out about poker, and then 2 years basically of you trial and erroring and meeting Jonathan Little and him teaching you how to be good, to the fish at the table by not berating them apparently. and then all of a sudden you're up to 30K and you're playing $600 sit and goes. That's pretty sick. I mean, for a college student from anywhere in America, like
how did you actually did you actually keep your studies up? Like I kind of know the answer to this, but like for the viewers or whatever, like you're winning $30,000 as a college student. How do you go to class? Like,
yeah, I basically civil engineering was like I wasn't going to be able to like also do civil engineering because the curriculum's like insane.
Right. You gotta actually work.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just felt like I really wanted to take a chance on poker, and like my parents were like super supportive. Well, I should go back to Australia though, I guess first.
I hear you got fourth. I don't know.
how much is fourth pay anyway for civil engineering student? How many? But don't say the amount. Just how many multiples of salary first year civil engineering graduate.
Yeah, I scored for about 200,000 in the main event there.
Damn.
Who won that one? Do you remember?
The guy by the name of Lee Nelson. Yeah, old school Aussie player.
Cool. Damn. So you're 20 with the 30K bankroll already. You go to Australia, instant 230K bankroll.
Pay your taxes like a good boy.
Pay your taxes like a good Southern gentleman. And then what happens?
Then I continued to just have some success like that. So the Aussie Millions was in January, and then so like the period leading up to the World Series, I was like had some success. And that was like the 06 Worlds. This was before I'd played my first World Series of Poker, the Australia. So yeah, I turned 21, and then like I was going to be able to jump right into.
Okay, so you were 20, you went to Australia, but if memory serves, I listened to one other interview with you, and you hadn't really played any tournaments, like multi-table tournaments. You were a sit-and-go player, and like was Aussie Millions like one? It was your first live tournament, obviously, but online, were you dabbling in the MTT streets a little bit? At least?
A little bit, yeah.
Was there some success there, or not really?
Yeah, a little bit, but not at the level of. I was like very new to the online MTTs, but most of my money, because the sit and goes were just running a lot.
Yeah.
And I also like was going to class occasionally, so so I would like sit and goes were better in that way. That
I can finish them in the 45 minutes that my class takes.
That I remember just like sit and goes dragging out when I was like, man, I really need to get in this car and like race to campus to like fight for these parking spots in like the smallest dirt parking lot ever, like run across campus.
Did you ever play online while in a class?
I don't recall doing
Okay, all right, good for you.
Yeah,
that is good for you. I had a computer science class, and that's
the only reason I brought it up, because Art did.
yeah.
So I know for sure that you final tabled Turning Stone as well, which is how you met one of our good friends, Eric Basebaldy Baldwin, right?
So that was not at Turning Stone. That was actually in the Bahamas.
No way. Okay,
Yeah.
I always had in my mind as Turning Stone. Okay, and you were 20 then, or?
I was, yes. That was also.
So I was within that period from January of Aussie Millions, before the World Series, where you were going to be 21. You were like, what else can I play as a 20-year-old?
Yeah, especially I was like, of course, intoxicated by like the trip to Australia and the success. I wanted to just like keep moving, like whatever was running.
Yeah.
So I remember going to Bahamas, Vienna, Austria, like a number of places. I was all over the place.
Did you satellite into all those too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Because there were,
And they all came with packages back then. So like the flights were taken care of, the hotels were taken care of. Yeah, the good old glory days.
So yeah, met Basebaldy down there. We both final tabled. I should mention he has also been was in 2008, like during a period online when I was struggling. He was like really awesome and like helping me like get back on track and offering advice. So like him and John, I would say, were like my two, and now Chewy has been a huge influence on my career. So like those three guys, I would say.
And we're gonna have Chewy on later, guys. Don't worry. Tune in
Nice.
later.
That'll be a good listen.
Yeah.
Chewy's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you in that window in between before the World Series, you final tabled the PCA, you said? Or not PCA, but a tournament.
Yeah, a
one?
tournament in the Bahamas. It was called the CPC.
So they didn't have PCA yet. I
Not
guess?
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how old I am.
It's all right.
He's
way
next
older.
to me. You look super young. I promise.
Okay, dude. So you were like, I mean, volume wise for live tournaments, your success rate was really high. Like you were found a way to get it done, even though, I mean, compared to sit and goes, you had to play a shitload of those to get. Maybe not back then. Like people were just giving money away at some point, but yeah. So okay, so you were still like trajectory pointed up all that way before the World Series even started, right? And then what happened? So these tournaments are all obviously going on between January and summer, but you're in school. Are you not in school? What happened in that window for school?
I actually, once I won the trip to Australia, I withdrew from school for that semester.
Oh, because you were going to miss the beginning part anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a point where I was pretty sure like I was gonna. Well, I shouldn't say that.
You wanted to get a
I
crack
just-
at it. You had a
I-
30K band. I mean,
yeah,
I remember I had my
yeah.
first like plus $7,000 month in January of a year, and I was in college, and I was like, I'm done. I won the $3 rebuy, bitches. I'm never playing. I'm never going to school again. So I can only imagine what slightly older version of me would have said. So maybe something a little bit less, a
little more
little more
tempered.
tactful. Yeah. So you were taking a semester off officially.
But you like that was your breaking point basically. It was like,
You're giving it a semester.
I'll see how this will go. Yeah.
dude, that's sick. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the gambling stories that we've, origin gambling stories that we've encountered is just running incredibly fucking hot for like that point where the inflection point or whatever. And like, it's crazy if like, even if, like whatever, if you don't get to Australia, if you get to Australia and you the first person to bust out, like Shannon Shorr could be a civil engineer in Alabama right now, just building bridges and tunnels and I don't know what else is there.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I like to think about this
That's
stuff.
kind of
a
nuts.
lot.
I mean,
Yeah, we've all won so many lotteries to be where we are in life. So.
Yeah, Justin and I in our first ever podcast, we talk about. I won the first, well, not the first live tournament I ever played. I went to San Remo, similar thing. On on a
Nice.
satellite, cashed it for like $20K. Made friends with Jason Mercier, swapped with him, so I doubled my cash with his win and my $20K.
Oh, he won the tournament.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he won the EPT.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
swapped 2%, made $40K total on the trip with my newly wed wife. I'm a little bit ahead of the
Oh,
family
nice.
curve
Yeah,
than you.
yeah.
And then Justin, when he came to Vegas, you chopped or won. No, you didn't know what chopping was. You
I
were,
had no idea what chopping was.
and he
but
won
I-
his first
I-
big tournament too.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Like-
So that
like
early
for-
shit.
that was in the 5 Diamond, probably?
No, it was a daily tournament, a 1K daily tournament at Bellagio, but that's back in the day where like
A daily
like,
could be
the
40K.
daily like got like 200 players.
Oh, yeah.
And it was $1,000 buy-in, and I won it, and like I didn't know what chopping was, and Jack McClellan came over, he was like, "You guys want to chop?" And I was like, "What the fuck is a chop?" And like I told the story on the first episode, I had a 2-1 chip lead, and he was like, "Well,
Do you
you
feel
guys."
like Jack was trying to initiate this chop?
Maybe
Or you-
at the time I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I was just fucking super happy, and like the guy, I was just like, wait, we can just end the tournament now and just chop the money up, and he's like, yeah, and I was like, let's do it, and like Jack's like, well, you have a 2-1 chip lead. I was like, I don't care, just put me first in the thing, and like we'll just chop the money straight down the middle.
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, yep. Snap yes. Probably gave away a little bit of equity there, but like still, like I had maybe a couple thousand in my name or whatever, and I cashed for like 45,000. It was nuts.
That's
like,
awesome.
Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but like I mean,
kind of
that-
necessarily have to have these scores to be around, right? Like,
and that's the
survivor
point.
bias.
It's crazy how
Yes.
we like people that are our age or whatever. People that have been in poker for 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. Like you need an origin story like this. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to get in there. Like there's so many brilliant minds out there. If they would have like ran cold for a year, they're just going to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Like they're going to actually give back to society. You know?
That's cool that you guys make the origin stories like one of the centers of your podcast too, because they are like when you get just talking to a guy or a girl about like where they came from, they're all like impossibly different stories too. Like a lot of them have similarities, but they all like are kind of cool to see how they all fell in place.
And exactly, and like there are plenty of businessmen that you play with, I'm sure, and that play our game. And like it's one of those where if they went back to when they were 21 or 25 or whatever age, if they would have won their first 3 poker tournaments, they wouldn't have done with it. Like you know, they wouldn't be the person they are today. And it's kind of crazy that like that's just like what sways them into being, because like generally poker players are quite intelligent. Like you know, like if you weren't in poker, you would be doing something probably illustrious of some kind of form or fashion. Maybe not art, but like you know the rest of us.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Wait,
say,
you're saying poker's not illustrious?
Well, I mean, no, and it's great. Like I mean, we get to play a game for a living, and it's we're basically like entertainers. We're dancing clowns for the most part. Like you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But like the brain power, if poker happened not to exist, and like generally speaking, it would either produce heavy gamblers that just try to like make their like living at blackjack or something like that, or I think it would produce a shit ton of lawyers and stock traders and
businessmen.
And businessmen for sure.
I'm actually really excited to get like a few poker playing but not professional poker playing businessmen onto here.
Yeah.
Just to see how similar the origins are, because I know I've listened to a lot of like business podcasts, and a lot of them are like, listen, I just saw this thing and I was selling WordPress plugins, and then all of a sudden I was making $20,000 a month doing it, and then I sold it to someone that wanted to buy it for 10x my revenue, and it's kind of like a giant MTC score. You know, they like didn't really know what they were doing, but they fell into something like really awesome. And I'm curious to get a few people on here who actually play poker and actually hit a big score outside of poker, but like it's kind of the same mindset where you're like, I had a big win, and I just love finding things that other people don't see. So I'm excited about that.
Next week we'll have one.
Next week
Sorry,
we'll have
not
one.
trying to
Spoiler
race past
alert.
Shannon.
Whoa. Spoiler alert. Businessman alert.
But either way, so tell me about your first summer, like the first World Series of Poker. I mean, you had to be super pumped. Like you're on this fucking huge heater. World Series of Poker at this point is creme a la creme. Just like you know, got to be your, you know, just your pinnacle of like what you consider poker to be.
Yeah, I rented a house down off Windmill. I remember me and like 10 guys piled in this 3-bedroom house, I think. Like we're literally sleeping like in some rooms, like 2 people on a king, 1 on a cot. Like we're just jammed in there like fraternity style. Average age is probably like 22 and a half.
I like it.
So yeah, I actually started that World Series 0 for 11 or something. I started to freak out, like 0 for 14 maybe. Like
0 for 13 or 14 or whatever equals to what, 40,000, 50,000? I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And that I definitely started to like freak out. You know, it's kind of like it's nice to like be at the point in our careers now where like so many times you've gone through those emotions of like downswing and knowing like if you like trust your process, it'll probably like you can dig your way out. But still, it's like all these years later, it's still like
Yeah.
and I don't know that like a lifetime is enough to like just overcome that, right?
I honestly I don't think it is, but like it's looking back to your point is incredibly like you're proud of yourself and like kind of scared of yourself at the same time, like looking back, or I am anyway every time.
Yeah, really tricky business. But yeah, that was my first time experiencing like, you know, just getting crushed. And I was freaking out.
It's funny that's getting crushed because like back then 10% of the field gets paid and you missed on 14. Like that's kind of in the standard deviation pretty healthily.
Yeah, I should say crushed relatively to like my knowing mind, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're like every time I played a live tournament,
yeah, I
was the final 7 people. What the fuck?
Ace King, the guy has jacks. I didn't river an ace.
Not to mention, like I mean, that might have been the last year, but like that might have been the year where like if you bought in for $1,000 tournament, you got 1,000 in chips.
At 25,
you started 25 blinds to start. Like I mean,
The 10,000
like,
main, we had 10,000 chips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like not the main, but like the smaller tournaments, you would make the money around dinner time because it was just such a turbo. It was,
Yeah.
you know, you go from 25, like by the time you get to 100, 200, like things are getting fucking real. Like,
Right.
Dude, yeah, and there was no late registration. You're just in.
That's right.
If you missed it, you're out.
Yeah, you literally had to just be bought in by the. That's right. That's crazy to think back that so many of us turned up for like at that time too.
Yeah,
like,
got to be there by noon on the dot or sooner. If you're in line still when they're registering, sorry, buddy.
I remember I would play cash through the night and like wait for like the line because the line would be like 200 people deep, and I would like take a break from like playing my 5-5 like no limit game. Like, nope, still 200 people, and like 4 a.m. like, all right, we're down to 90. I guess we're gonna get in there now.
Oh, that one because they had that one small cage.
Yeah, like it
lined up
was.
there. Yeah. Oh, right. On the weekends, it would get so busy.
It was nuts. It would just be around the corner, and like they just like, I don't know, the Rio. It was just like, no, we're gonna have one teller open. What's the big deal?
Oh man, crazy times. It's like crazy to see like how far the game has come, and we've come,
dude.
and
It's nuts.
just being along the ride of the.
Dude, seriously, I remember thinking like when they first put those Bravo machines in where you got to pay like $1 or $3 to like register on the thing. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'll stand in line. Well, no big deal. and then I can't imagine standing in like an 8-person line when I could pay $3 and just be in.
Yeah.
Now you get mad the opposite way. It was like, if this fucking kiosk would just work properly, like I would pay fucking $100 if just make it work.
Yeah,
And it works most of the time.
it does. It
Yeah,
does.
generally it seems allocating money to like avoid your stressors whenever you can is a like really good way to live by.
It's good. It's one of my main like analyzing my life. It's one of my main things that I'm actually have gotten good at. Where I like if something is bothering me, I just put money at that until it's like not bothering me, and then
That's right.
It's been like so much better for me because I'm just
Yeah.
like being a nit on that type of stuff. Just like doesn't in the long run. It's penny wise, pound foolish for sure. You're just always paying the price long term. All right, so. Going back to 0 for 14.
Sorry, we get sidetracked sometimes. Continue.
Yeah, so I think I scratched a few caches here and there. I went over to Bellagio and won one of those nightlies.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Or chopped it, I think.
Yeah.
Got like, I don't know, 60K maybe, like basically recouped a lot of buy-ins. And then the main event, I actually started off like crushing. I think I was like one of the chip leaders of the main event at the end of day one, and had like a pretty good run in that to like 300th or something. I came 300th, and of course I was like super gutted because that was the Jamie Gold year, and it was like so enormous.
Oh,
like poker
yeah.
was blowing up to like no end. So I was like, and as a kid that age too, you have these like, you know, your need for validation is like much higher as well. So I like wanted to be like the guy, like
of course.
much more, you know.
And you were playing a lot online, so did you win your seat in that too?
I can't remember. I was probably, it's quite possible because I was playing a bunch online that summer as well. So I was probably firing the satellites and.
Okay, because I remember that was one, well, obviously that was the Jamie Gold year, but they
give away a bunch of seats.
They gave away a lot of seats, and then also like if you happen to get on some kind of feature table, they would always give you like some kind of you're buying back. Plus, you just have to wear a hat. They'll give you an extra $1 million if you win. Like it was money was flying.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if like you had any kind of incentive the year that you played and you had a deep run or no.
Oh yeah, I didn't play on the feature or get certain. Yeah, so I didn't make any money that way. I did wear some full tilt patches back in that time period for like 15, 20K or whatever.
Sure.
They were like at final tables.
Yeah, I had one buddy who like never played poker, but he didn't even satellite in. He bought in direct to the main event one year. I don't remember the year. It was secondary feature table, and they were like, "Listen, if you wear, can't remember if it was Poker Stars or Full Tilt. If you wear this, you're getting 5K. Like you're getting your 5K back. You wear this." And he was like, "I don't have to sign anything." They were like, "No, you're good." And then I think on date they might have renegotiated. I really don't know, but it was like a wild time to be in poker.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cashed for a bunch in the Bellagio to get your money back. You had 300th in the main.
Which probably played decent, probably like 30, 40K or something like that.
Yeah.
Might have been more than that with Jamie Gold.
There you go.
Could have been like 50, 60. But anyway, we can check the Hen and Mob. How'd the rest of that summer go?
So then that I told myself So I was like so gutted by not like winning the main. It's funny how your brain thinks in like such,
Sure.
you know, and then I actually I chopped the Bellagio Cup main. At the last tournament of the summer was a 10,000 Bellagio Cup main. And Danny Wong,
Sure.
I believe a Swedish guy, and myself chopped, and that's back when it was like $1 million to first, and we chopped it.
Million
and I
to
got
first.
like
Dude, it was
$2
nuts.
for third.
No, I mean, I remember, like, it wasn't quite that extreme, but yeah, it was probably like 600K or something like that for like second, or 650 or something like that.
They would like cut
I
it in
chopped.
half
I got
almost.
650.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
nice.
And one
Sick.
dude, one
Jesus
of my
Christ.
friends, I remember bought 10% of me for that in the last tournament. But yeah, I was just blasting it in there, and I told myself like I was gonna go back to school because this was like too much for me, like handling all these
Yeah.
stressors and like the swings.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I don't win like $500,000 in this summer, then I'm gonna go back to school. I remember telling myself
That was your target to yourself?
Yeah.
Holy
I was like, I don't
To
win
be
some
fair,
life
he had
changing.
just won 200, like,
I guess I'll.
in the Aussie.
That's so hard to do. And
Yeah.
you just do it?
Yeah. Then in the last tournament,
That's nuts. That's
my God.
so nuts.
I remember I was all in near the money of that tournament.
Bellagio Cup.
Like, yeah. And I was all in with Jack's first Hollingall. You remember Hollingall?
Oh, yeah. Jesus, legend.
Yeah.
His two kings, and I could just like feel myself on my path back to school, and the river was just a jack.
Meanwhile, he was on the path to immortality. Like, he was going to be the Isildur #1.
Yeah,
Dude.
and then that just like, it's funny how like all you guys know this, how one card can just change the direction of your life so much, and we've all had so many of those. Like,
Dude, that's the origin story then. That's it. Because like if you're gonna go back to school, if you win $500,000.
You have this 6-month
Yeah.
window, 7-month window,
That's nuts. It's so
where
impressive.
you go from 30 to over $500,000, like probably closer to $1 million than $500,000. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. That's a sick run.
yeah, it was wild. It was like,
Damn. Wow, where do we go from here?
so
I don't know, probably down, I'm guessing. It can't just keep going up, can it?
I mean, that was
it was a cool time to like be having success in the industry too, because I was like one of the few like younger guys too, and I had a pretty popular blog.
Oh, did you?
that I was,
Yeah. I remember reading it
Oh, I don't
before
remember.
even like. Maybe it was right when I met you, but like I'm pretty sure like I remember reading it like before I actually met you.
What was the name of your blog?
I actually had shannonshorr.com, and I would blog on there. Before that, I had like blogspot.
Yeah.
.com, I think it was.
Just, yeah,
And
one of those
maybe even another platform.
subdomains of one of the blogging platforms. Cool.
So that
okay.
was cool, just like connecting with people, and I built like an awesome community and just a very cool, like unexpected life path to fall into.
Yeah, blogging is one of those things that used to be. It's maybe it's kind of like social media is now, where you just like, as long as you contribute, like you can build kind of a crazy network of people are listening to you that you're like, I didn't realize this billionaire even knew who I was. You know what I mean? Like, and in blogging, it was like probably that to the 10% degree, where you have this reach that you don't realize that you have, and yeah, building a cool network of people. That's awesome. So that was so right after that, you did your blog, and then you kind of transitioned to, you're like, all right, I guess I'm taking poker seriously now. This is my life.
I continued to travel a ton, like basically all of my 20s, like spent a lot of time. My later 20s, I spent a lot of time in Europe playing the EPTs, so that was cool to just like gallivant around the European cities and just explore and try to mac on women.
No, for sure. Yeah. Like, is there any country you have not been to that you want to, in Europe specifically? Because I know you've been to a bunch, like over 15, I'd guess. But like,
Yeah. I'd say Portugal. I've heard Portugal's great.
all right.
I never made it. I spent a lot of time in Spain, but never made Portugal. So
right.
I'd say that's the one. And just being, nowadays, like the idea of traveling, I kind of want to do it in like warmer stuff too.
Yeah.
Especially like, because I have 2 kids now, like traveling, I'm probably going to be traveling with them, so I'm not trying to carry suitcases of super cold stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
so speaking of that, let's just tell everyone you have 2 kids, boy and a girl, right?
I do. Yeah, I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 12-week-old son. My daughter's Nora. My son's Logan. They are awesome. Parenthood has just been super special journey. Yeah, seeing these little creatures run around.
And they look like you.
Yeah, and just like having my heart melted every day by like things she says and watching her grow, and my son now, just seeing him. It's obviously really early, but seeing him grow, it's been and to do it with Joy, who's just like an incredible mom. She just dedicates all of her time, like never complains. She just completely beasts it. So found a good partner to go down that road with.
Yeah, she is great.
Your origin story is long. You just keep crushing. So, and you kept crushing. You had a lull in between, right?
I did. Things were pretty rough around the time like that I started playing a lot on the EPT. Actually, I was probably behind the like my natural talent. I wasn't like working too hard to like stay on top of my game. I was just like partying a lot and doing stuff all over the place.
I think anyone who hits that success early is just like, I better enjoy this.
Yeah.
Especially when they're 22, 23.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. So that's what I was going for. And I was also, but like the tournaments were in Europe and I was like traveling Europe. So, and these guys, a lot of these Europeans were still, they hadn't had Black Friday. What year was that, 11?
That was 11.
Okay.
So, but you were still, the time I was thinking, you were still kind of 2004 was gold, or was that 5?
6 was when I started. Six was the great year.
6 was gold.
6
was great. 7 was a little rough. 8 was great. And then like from probably 9 to like 14, it wasn't great.
Yeah, I have a similar 9 to 14 stretch that wasn't great.
Yeah, it's funny how like 5 years like of time can go by where like and just like, as I'm sure you guys can attest to, like the mindset, like really try to get in the mindset, or the mindset it can put you in when it's going bad is like it can be hard to dig out. Like I think all poker players can attest to that. So
no, for sure. But like I will say, you and Eric Baldwin specifically are two of the people that I pigeonhole as far as people that mentally try to work themselves out, like by thinking of new avenues, where I normally just had kind of just put your head down and like, just it's going to work itself out type thing. And like, I don't think my way is the correct way for what I'm saying. Like, but it's super impressive to like have the humility to just be like, all right, this isn't working. Let's change something in my life. Let's do something different. Let's figure something out. And like, it's kind of cool. Like in all honesty, cause like I'm stubborn as shit. Like I don't have that in me, I guess. But like,
sounds like you have some insight. Did you get like coaching, or you did something in that window where you were having a bad run, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you speak to
oh
exactly
no, I'm
like
not speaking like any direct things, but like I don't know. You change diets. You would change like you stop partying for a bit. Like you know what I mean. Like you took your lifestyle kind of away from poker. You know what I mean? And you just made your life about poker. And like, and like, I'm not even talking about coaching or any of that other stuff, but like, whatever, making sure you get enough sleep, or like now you're doing cold plunges now. Like, like, I'm not saying you're doing that directly for poker, but like, you're always constantly working towards a better you. And like, that's I think that's rare in poker, in all honesty. I don't think it's rare in good poker, but like just as poker players in general, I think it's kind of rare.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard to like do all these things like and play poker, because poker just takes so much out of you. But from my experience, like if I'm not like I was a lifelong athlete, played baseball and stuff, so I'll get like the training probably, and from a young age, that probably like changes my brain chemistry in the way that I like long for it, or I'm more like want to do it, I guess. But yeah, I've always enjoyed kind of optimizing myself. I also like really let myself go in my early years. I gained like 40 pounds or something. I was getting quite disgusted. I was like, it was dessert every meal, like all the steak, 2 starches, dinners, like. So I was firing it in, and I think that probably, I made a weight loss bet with a dude in 2007, maybe 2008, like to start the year. This dude who I hadn't yet met, we were just like, we started talking.
You sound fat. I'll bet.
No, so this is actually a great story. So the dude lived in Atlanta. His name's John, I think.
John Big? Yeah, John Little as a mentor, John Big as a guy to bet against.
So we met, he lived in Atlanta, and I'm in Birmingham. We agreed to meet at a Walmart. halfway between, and we went to wherever the scale
section.
You went to the scale section.
and we just weighed in. And it turns out this dude, like I later learned, was like independently wealthy, so it was just like a motivator for him.
Oh, right.
And he like probably pretty happily would have. We bet like $2,000. And I think we had some terms. I can't remember exactly, but it was like weight loss percentage. And we both weighed in, and then we got towards the end, and he actually beat me. I didn't. He won. I think we had a relief as long as you got to a certain point.
Okay.
You like didn't have to pay as much. And I did pretty well. I lost like 30 pounds, but he did better. And the sad thing was, like towards the end of the stretch, was doing something was going on, and I was like partying a bunch. And I remember at one point I was playing. At my apartment playing some video game, and I told myself I was going to go to the sauna and like sweat out some weight, but I got so buried in the video game, and it cost me, a lot of decisions.
Was that close?
I would have won the bet. Yeah, he clipped me by like
3 games of Halo cost
if
me.
if I would have lost like 2 pounds, I think I would have won.
Holy shit!
We got the thumbnail for the YouTube video. 3 games of Halo cost me $2,000.
Probably Super Mario Kart. I don't know.
I'm always like translating decisions into like how much money they like cost me or like didn't cost me.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
The mental health.
Yeah, I'm trying to chill on that these days.
How many millions have you earned in these tournaments? 12, 14, something like that?
You've
range?
looked at my Hendon Mob more recently than me, but it's like how tournaments work. Like that, I'm not banking all
I don't
the
know how
money.
they work.
Art actually does not know.
I used to know how they work.
He thinks he just shows up and he hands money, and then he walks away and goes back home. I think that's what he actually
I
thinks
give them
happens.
money. They kick me in the nuts figuratively, sometimes literally, and then I go home, and then I come back. No, I used to have this mindset that like I was going to win 1% of tournaments I bought into. It's just straight up win. Because like at one point online, that was my record. I was winning 1 out of 100 MTTs that I played. And I was like, I'm a fucking beast. This is easy. And every time you won, it was like the $10 rebuy where you won like 250 buy-ins or 300 buy-ins. You know what I mean? So I was like, easy peasy. So let me say, I'm going to go up to the 100 rebuys. Those must be just as easy. And so I'm just saying, like, once you started refocusing, regrinding after your downswing, you have like dozens of 6-figure scores in the last like 2 years. Have you done anything different since like I guess
since Nora was born?
COVID maybe, like 2020 when there was no live poker to be played. How do you think about like how you've changed your game in poker since your downswing time, and then like when you refocus, you start doing good again, and then like these incredible results that you've had over the last like three years or so?
Yeah, around pandemic and during pandemic, I was both playing a lot online and talking a bunch with Chewy. Chewy became like a huge mentor for me at that time.
Were you guys friends before that? Or
we've always been friends, but like casually, we'd like say what's up when we saw each other, but we weren't like intentionally
What did you?
connected.
I'm always curious how people develop these friendships. Like, did you say like, hey, I want you to help me, or did you just like start pinging him with questions all the time, or how did that unfold?
Basically, he was definitely like at a much better technical understanding and still is of the game than I am. But so I was just like, but I was committed to. When pandemic happened, I went into like that freak out mode. I'm like, all right, I got to adjust. I'm like not technically good enough for online, in my opinion. So I just started talking, reaching out to a bunch of people. That's one thing I think in poker that a lot of people should know and do is like you can always just like message a person and like ask their opinion on a hand. And
it's a free roll, right? Like they just either don't respond or they want to talk to you.
And like you got to get the message a little bit if like people aren't responding because people are busy too. So like you can't just like pepper it. Yeah. But it's just like a lot's going on for all of us. But and Chewy just loves the game so much that I think anytime my hand history comes in, he just like can't get enough. So he would like give me his insight.
Cool.
And just started doing that, being more willing to like reach out to other people, and was like studying a lot. At that point I was like using Pio a bunch, and getting much technically better at tournaments.
Did Shannon text you during this time?
Yeah, I gave him a few pointers. I didn't want to call
Because
him out on it.
he didn't text me at all.
Come on, that's not true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but,
Sorry.
yeah, but the theory stuff definitely helped my game a ton.
Theory stuff, meaning like with the solvers and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So just learning how like a computer would perfectly balance it, you use that to like find out some stuff that you were doing wrong, or?
Yeah, I basically just like had an understanding. I have a much better understanding now about like how the ranges work generally for like different pre-flop sides. Like I feel like I got really good at pre-flop, where I was otherwise just like giving money away probably.
Were you, so just to rewind, before like all of this, were you mostly instinct and feel based, or did you do like a lot of training videos and that type of stuff, or not really?
I did watch quite a few training videos. I was into that, but I wasn't like using solvers prior to that.
Okay.
But I was never like, I don't think I was ever like just a total feel player. Like I always, or in the very early years, I guess. Like
But I know what you mean.
But then I became interested in like watching how other people just like think about the game, I guess, and stuff.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I remember Joy driving us back from Joshua Tree. It was, and like you had Dominic Nietzsche's like training like site where you could like, they basically gave you quizzes or whatever. Like,
Oh yeah.
and like you were in the front seat, I was in the back, and you would tell me the hand and like what the options were, and I think I went 0 for 5, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But like, yeah, you were like super into like that like training side at the time. You're just like very much trying to like.
To be fair, I don't think that's the bit. Like looking back, I think a lot of that stuff was like flawed.
Okay.
So,
Well, good. Yay.
You're probably quite perfect.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm back to being. But like every time I would say an answer, I was like, oh, it's clearly this. He was like, nope, it's this. I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like I was so angry at it.
I remember thinking the same thing about a lot of that, honestly. Yeah, but yeah, it's weird. Like, yeah, it's really, it's different for sure. It takes a lot of the shit. Like, really takes some time to wrap your head around. But there's so like I was really into it, and then there was a point where I thought I was like thinking way too much about the like theory, poker in terms of theory, and that's like a very dangerous line to walk. You know, when you're like, if your head's buried in like. I'll give you an example. Like if I'm buried in like in Pio solver on all night, then I'm just the next day I'm gonna be like much more likely to like not deviate. I would say, or if I've been. Does that make sense?
No, for sure. Like I think our last interview we brought up with Justice Sylvia. Like I think he brought it up, but like I brought it home for me anyway. Where every time I read a strategy poker book, I always went on a downswing because like I absorb the information, but I don't know how to apply it. So it's just across the board. This is what I think I should do, and like I don't think situationally. I don't think player wise, or I don't like. There's no feel anymore. It's just like head down. I'm supposed to 3-bet this hand every time or whatever. I'm supposed to fold this hand, and that's it. And like I would just lose, and I didn't understand why, because I was like, I'm learning all this new information. I know it's good. I don't understand, and it took me. And they're like 6 months, be like, oh, I don't need to do it here. I need to do it here. And like you need to transition off it and like not just take the information for what it's worth. Like it's, you take it in and then like try to understand how to apply it as opposed to apply it across the board. And like it's very hard to do.
Well said. Yeah, if you're anything, I feel like I play my best poker when I'm relaxed. So, and generally that means like I haven't been like I like to know like theory and the way the game works, but like whatever it takes for me, I like getting away from poker, like doing some like, you know, workouts or flotation tank or massage, that type of stuff to like, and then get like go and play poker because I just feel like I'm at my best self.
And I honestly think personality plays a part in all this stuff. So like integrating your personality with this mass knowledge that's out there right now is I think the winning play for just about anybody. Because like if you try to be someone different, like whatever. If you learn from Chewy and you're not Chewy and try to play like Chewy, you're not going to succeed. Only Chewy can play like Chewy. Only Shannon can play like Shannon. That's super deep shit. You hear that? You got it?
That's good. I like that.
but like when you, to your point, like when you get super relaxed and you have all these like good voices coming in, and you're like, okay, yeah, I know he play like this sometimes, this like this, but like I'm just gonna be me, and I understand what other people are thinking at this time, and that's all that matters. Because if you know how Chewy people think, or art people think, or whatever, then like you can just like maneuver through those people.
Dance through the people. Dance through the raindrops.
Dance through the
What a
raindrops.
fascinating game we play, huh?
Dude, it is nuts.
It's so cool to be here all these years later.
What would you say? I mean, obviously, you've been crushing for a long time. What would you say your like biggest edge is over the average player when you sign up for like a tournament? Would you say it's like theory, instincts, mindset, preparation, in-game focus, like all the things that could be good for a poker tournament? What do you think? Like, do you think you're like the most balanced out of everyone, or what do you think it is?
If I had to just pick one, it's tough. I think I would say my preparation, because I think I'm generally prepared. Like when I sit, like even during long poker tournament, I'm like mindful about like when there's when there's going to be down action, like when there's not going to be tournaments.
Yeah.
So I'm like in that period, I'm like trying to work on myself. Like I'll try to get some workouts in, massage, like be ready. Like when a tournament series starts, I'm like ready to go generally. And I don't have any like major leaks in my life. Like I'm married, I'm living a domesticated life now. So, you know, I get to, you know, I'll play the tournament.
So you think when you're down, downtime, and then like when the World Series comes on and you know it's gonna be 8 weeks of grind, you're like, you can work at 80% capacity the entire time, whereas everyone else is like gonna have big peaks and valleys.
I'd say so. I'd say that's a big part of it. Yeah, I feel like I've like, but I mean, it's still like World Series is like super grind.
I mean, that's very
much
like,
yeah.
Everyone's trying their hardest during the World Series, and like people overcommit, people undercommit, but like you think that you prepare well for long spurts of poker, like when a big series comes along, you're ready to go, versus someone who might not be as well mentally and physically prepared.
Yeah, I'm good about like always making sure my buy-ins are like lined up and stuff. Like I have my buy-ins for tournaments.
buy-ins.
Oh,
like,
buy-ins.
I thought it was like a body term too. The biomes. My biomes are great.
My biomes in my body. I thought you said buy hands. Like, yeah, I have buy hands too. I got one over here. I got one over here. I'm ready.
Yeah, but I make sure like I generally know like when I'm where my options to eat are at like different venues, and like where I want to park, and I feel like I run like a decent operation that I don't deviate from, I would say.
Interesting. Okay, because that's good shit right there, where you're ready outside of the game. And then what about like what about specifically like at the table? Do you what do you notice? Like, I don't know, there's a shitload of regs obviously out there that play a ton of these tournaments, that play all of them. What's something that you think they all are missing, or like, I mean, not to educate the field, but but something that Shannon does differently that other people maybe are not doing?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good players now. It seems like in these tournaments, like with the eyes that are on it now, like the fields are growing. But there's also so many people that are like pretty good now as a result of like they're able to run their solves on different sites instantly, and so a lot of people are like pretty good. I think I've definitely been running hot too. Like it's not like I'm doing like
Sure, but
yeah, but you've been running hot for
aside,
fucking
I mean,
20 years. I mean, there's got to be something that you're doing.
As far as gameplay, yeah, I mean I played a lot of them, right? So I generally know like how. I'd say I generally know like I try to like look back on myself like when I see like up and coming players, and like try to think like how do I feel at like this stage of the tournament, or this stage of the tournament, or this stage of the tournament. And so I like know a lot of like the emotions that I experience, and I guess I like assume that a lot of people are like experiencing the similar feelings. But yeah, having played a lot, I have like I'm usually able to like drop people into like bucket types of like how I think they're going to play.
What
I feel like I'm
those
generally
bucket types look like.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
Run it once.
people.
Run it once with Shannon Shorr. What's a like? I don't know. I guess I'm
You
just trying to-
generally just like, is this some guy who's like, flew from Wisconsin, who's like, playing this one tournament, he's not going to put any money in. Like, all right, I'm going to try to run over this guy. Or
So if
this,
you think
this is some
they're on
seasoned
one
pro
bullet-
who's on the come up, who's like, he's not like, there's certain like very egotistical people that like you're not going to bluff them. You guys know how this type of stuff works, right? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, just try. I'm generally like pretty, as I mentioned, ready to play and relax at the table. So I sense like different. I feel like I'm in touch with the energy a lot and like sense like what people are trying to accomplish. And
So like the game flow of the whole table.
Just like the individual game flow as well, like where everyone's mental capacity is. Like, I think that's what you're saying anyway. Where they're trying to like they're either inexperienced or experienced enough, so like you can kind of throw them in a bucket and then like take advantage of them, like
No, because this is all really interesting to me because I don't feel like I'm super good at that, but like you guys play a lot of tournaments, especially live tournaments, and just seeing like how you guys react to different players. Because I know I played a couple times with you in tournaments, and I've seen you be like incredibly active at the table, and like I remember actually one specific tournament where we played together at the World Series, or maybe it was the WPT, I don't know. But there was some spot where like some old guy like check raised you on the river, and the board was like Jack, 10, 10, 3. And you either had a 10 or you had an overpair. And I was like, this other guy has a Jack 900% of the time. Like you're just like, I don't know why you're thinking here on the river with this check raise, Shannon. And then you end up calling him. You end up calling him, and he was bluffing. And and he didn't have a Jack, and I think you might have had a 10, but like, I don't know, you took a while, and I didn't know what you were thinking about, and I was just like, this guy has it always here. And you just like sussed it out, and it was like a small check raise, and I don't know what you were like putting together in that spot. And it's just like these types of spots where I see somebody elite doing something, and I'm just like, wow, first of all, he bet the river, which is like not thin, but like you bet the river, and then like you get raised, and the guy is 100 years old, and you're just like, you find the one out of his 100th years that he's bluffing, and nobody else could find it.
That's
like,
funny. I must have had like one of those dynamics that I'm talking about, where like this
exactly.
Where
It was
sometimes you
some
can
kind
just
of
sense
bucket.
somebody.
Either you had played with this guy before, or you just like sense like there's no way this guy would check the river with a Jack, the top pair. You know what I mean? Like the top boat. Like there's just no way he would miss a chance at missing this value. And you were just, maybe your instincts were like mine, where you're like, this is a horrible call. But like the other part overrid it, where you were like, but he never would have checked. Like the part where I would never go to, where you're just like, I would never go all the way back in the hand and be like, all right, he just would not check in this. I just have to pay here because now he's just like mad that I'm betting, basically. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And those types of spots, I see them from time to time. I don't play a lot of tournaments anymore, and sometimes I'm playing with like elite cash game players, and these weird things come out where you see them and you're like, okay, good call or good. You don't really say good fold, I guess, because you never see the folds, right? The good players just fold them face down. But I don't know, like those types of spots are the spots where it changes my game, where I see someone do something really cool and I'm like, wow, I'm not thinking hard enough about poker lately because of what I saw. And
that's like a part of like repetition too. Like it's Justin too, like having played so many tournaments, you just like, you visualize, like you see more of the game coming at, or you're also like more relaxed. It's like less, if you don't play many tournaments, you're probably not like super comfortable when you sit. So you're probably like your breathing's probably changing, and you're probably not like as relaxed as somebody who's just played like infinite tournaments, right? So it's like, it's easier to like piece together all of the info whenever, like if I sat in y'all's cash game, I would probably just get mashed because I don't play in those dynamics. And
that makes sense. Repetitions is a good Yeah. Is a good metric for just being comfortable for sure.
Well, let's talk to me about the future and where people can find you on social media if you want to go down that road. But like, what are you looking forward to next? Like, what's going on?
So I'm really excited for fatherhood with my son.
there
Growing up, like I'm committed to like being a great dad, and I really want to be active in their lives. So it's going to be fun as they get into sports and stuff. But poker-wise, I generally am going to be around here. So much stuff comes through Vegas now. It's great. You can just play that stuff, like live a like decently balanced lifestyle, not have to deal with tons of.
You don't have to travel. You don't have to do EPTs anymore if you don't want to. I mean, yeah, to your point, there's plenty of poker here.
And it's nice having traveled, like not to have FOMO about any of the stuff too. Yeah. Like there's always going to be another tournament, so I'm happy to like sit some good spots, but I want to like stay on top of my health and stuff. And I also I'm like somewhat frugal, so I'm not like trying to make infinite. I'm play some poker tournaments and see what happens, and be with my family. And
doesn't hurt that Poker Go has like nice big buy-ins now that like you could play a small field 10K, 5K, and like have a real chance at like this is my normal. I can just play this 5 times a year or however often they run it, and feel like you have a chance to just realize your equity.
But even stuff at like Venetian and Wynn, there's so much good stuff.
That's true. A lot of good stuff, especially the Wynn lately. They put on some really good big field tournaments.
That December series is unreal, right?
Nuts. I only played like 2 events, but still, it was. We talked about this quite a bit with Justice Sylvia, our last guest, but like just as far as like mass tournament. Or mass people in tournaments or whatever. I don't know anyone that's done it better than the Wynn. Like I really don't. Like dealers, floors, like logistics, like everything across the board. Like,
they run
like
such
perks.
a smooth.
It feels like a 300 person like tournament the entire time, which is a huge homage to like them and their staff.
Yes, they are awesome for sure.
So how many bracelets are you going to win this summer? Because I have a lot of people that want to know, mainly Joy.
I like myself for 2 bracelets this summer.
No fucking way. Holy shit.
Quickly be a 14.
I hit the under. Holy fuck.
I think I'm going to claim 1 live and 1 online.
There you go.
I need a live one.
So, like, honestly, like, online, whatever. But, like, tell me the one you're going to win live. Tell me which event it's going to be.
Yeah, call one out. We need to recap this.
I'm being dead serious. I want to know your energy, how it's feeling about an event. You can just say, like, a price point or, like,
I'll go $5,000 6 max.
Dude, that's a sexy one.
That would be a good one.
That's a fucking good one.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I like you for that too, now that you said it.
So, do you ever sell pieces of yourself on any of those like poker shares sites or anything like that?
I did for a little bit of time just to like help out a friend, but generally no.
Okay, fair enough. Art specifically likes to do that kind of stuff, so I'm sure he's going to be trying to like search for you, but I guess he won't.
Oh, you buy action on there?
I just like to, on the Josh Aryeh won the pokerstake.com or whatever, I went on there and I fired some on your mentor, John Little.
Oh, nice.
He made me some money in, I forget what it was, Poker Open or Masters or
I
one of those.
Open, yeah.
One of those he did good, although I just recently found out you have to cash out in Bitcoin, which would have been good if I knew right before the run up. Oh, yeah. I guess it went back down though recently, so I could cash out and possibly win again. Dude, but
how cool to have access like that where you can just buy somebody's action in poker.
Oh yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, all that shit is really cool. I hope it becomes more mainstream, honestly. All that, just being able to make a name for yourself and sell whatever to make sure that you make some money, or for your fans or whatever. It's really cool shit.
Poker's headed in such a cool direction. It's fun to just like.
I agree.
It's fun to just like let it all play out and see where it takes us.
Just my wife says this to me all the time. She's like, well, you don't know what's going to happen this year in poker. If you would have like put yourself in your shoes 2 years ago and said that this is where you're going to be now, you wouldn't believe it. Like literally every 2 years, it changes so much. Just the dynamics of tournaments or private games or the booms that happen, like that have been happening quite a bit or whatever lately. But like, it's nuts, and like it's just best to sit back, try to mentally prepare yourself, and just let it all happen, you know?
Yeah, it's also cool to like the business guys you talked about and stuff. Like, it's cool that we're involved in an industry that like all these dudes just like that are retired. Like, this is what people want to do.
Yeah.
I try to remind myself that, like, when playing poker, as many times as I've told myself like, "Fuck poker, I hate this." I mean, even like last year, there's times when I'm telling myself I'm done with poker. It's crazy how like, you know, you can be in like big upswing and still like short periods of time where it just like drives you fucking crazy. But that's kind of the cool part, is like trying to pull out like the challenge of like bringing yourself back from like.
I don't know anyone that has just had a smooth sail just all the way up. I'm sure there's people out there, there are people that intelligent that do that, but I also don't think any of those people would ever be my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being very genuine.
They would have made better accountants than they did poker players.
Like, if you just have no stress as you play poker for 10 years, I don't think I could be friends with you. I just don't think you have enough risk in your life.
I think the stress is like part of what like defines us as humans too, like the process of working through it. Because like you meet all these long time guys and girls that have been playing that we know they're all such just vibing out, living their life. Like everybody's so cultured. Like, conversation can go any direction. Like, the conversations in the Poker Go studio are so much fun. They're just like anything is possible to be talked about.
I agree, and like that's one thing we say about like our table one game or whatever. It's so nice talking to like businessmen from not just like, oh, I'm a stock trader or I'm a doctor or whatever. Like, just they do everything, and like they're successful in whatever field they're in, and like they're all highly intelligent, and it's just nice to get like different viewpoints from like something you could never wrap your head around as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just being someone that you're trying to, this is your new hobby, and like you're treating it kind of like a game, you know, like it is poker, but like treating it like I'm taking up chess, you know, but I'm super successful at this other thing that I'm doing, but I want to play chess for $10,000 a hand. You know what I mean? Like, it's just wild that how poker is definitely experiencing a next boom, like especially in the tournaments. Like, tournaments have been huge, but like even in the cash games, we've noticed a lot of new blood, new people coming in, and it's just cool. I'm excited for the next 5 years of poker. I'm not gonna lie.
No, love to hear it.
All right, anything you want to promote? IG, Facebook,
I have
MySpace.
I have Twitter and Instagram. Shannon Shorr on both of them.
Just Shannon Shorr, huh?
Yeah.
That's it.
If you see a picture of a man come up on the Shannon part, it's Shannon.
It's actually me.
Dude, thank you for doing this.
That was great. Enjoyed it.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy, we working hard for this money.